So welcome to our Saturday conversation, and you're very welcome to be here. And how are you, Vicky?
Well, I'm very well, thank you, Alex, and I'm very excited to see you back with me this week, although it was lovely having Luke last week.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Well, thank you very much. And firstly, what an amazing week it's been weather-wise.
Can I tell you something very exciting?
Go on then.
Okay, I'm a little bit obsessed with this. I met some baby ducklings this week.
Oh.
At Bremer School, they have hatched some little ducklings, and they're the cutest, most fluffiest, beautiful things I've ever seen in my life. And it just made me so excited about the future and the summer and spring and Easter and everything.
I know, it's so lovely. It's such a lovely, lovely time of year, isn't it? Have you managed to get in the garden at all?
No, let's not talk about that.
Okay.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
List of things to do.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think the weather's going to be good until Tuesday, I think. So you've got a few more days.
Let's see what happens.
Anyway, I can't believe we are now only one more week of Lent groups, and then we're into Holy Week. Can you believe that?
Do you know what? It has actually, this week has sped up, and I think it is because of the nice weather. How was your Lent group?
It went really well this week, actually, really well. How did yours go?
It was good. We were a slightly smaller group this week, which meant we could delve into things a little bit more, which was quite nice.
Yeah.
What were you chatting about?
So we got quite, both the groups that I'm helping with, we got quite stuck into the fact that, you know, Jesus talks about this man who was born blind, and they're talking about why, and he talks about the fact that the glory of God can be shown through it, or something like that. I can't remember the exact words. And there was a question in our Lent group about actually what about our experience of illness and suffering, and, you know, does it bring you closer to God or not? And of course, that's a really tricky question when things are really bad, and when we're really suffering. What is our experience of God at those times?
And it's a really personal thing, isn't it? It's so different from person to person, and it's so relevant because on my Facebook this week, I've had loads of conversations going on with people saying, "Why is this happening to me? My life's really bad at the moment. This isn't fair. This sucks." And it is that, you know, some people can view things like that. Other people can really lean in to God when things are tough.
I ended up telling the Lent group, one of my Lent groups, about the fact that I went through a couple of years of really a tricky time personally, and I found myself getting up earlier and earlier and just being really cross with God and crying, and I think that firstly, I think it's fine for us to communicate that with God. I think it's fine to actually go, why are you letting this happen? But I think that actually having got through it, and of course this is hard for people who are still going through difficult times, but having got through it, I can see that, you know, God was at work and he was holding me. And do you know what? I often go back to something that I read. Someone called Jill Weber wrote a book called Even the Sparrow. Really recommend it. And she talks about, you know, what helps us to have a spiritual depth. She calls it spiritual gravity. And she says we often find it in people whose sins have been forgiven, failures have been redeemed, wounds that have been healed, and thorns that have settled in your flesh. Do you know what? That really makes sense to me, that actually you go through a bad time and we come out changed. You know, you could come out maybe with a physical scar, okay, something bad has happened and you've broken your arm or whatever, but you could come out with just a scar that I think is interesting to people. It shows that you've been through that rough time, but you've got through it. And I think people are curious about scars. I think they go, how did you get that? Or how did you cope with what happened to you? And so I think that our experience of suffering is always unique, isn't it? It's always different.
But there is something there about giving yourself time to reflect. And I think that's the thing, is when you get through it, because we all do get through it, it is actually pausing and saying, okay, what was working there? Where was God at work there? And how have I managed to get through it? Because it's in that reflection.
Because in the time you can feel like, where is he? Where is
completely.
God? I'm on my own here. But it's not until you get through it and you can look back and you think, do you know what? Actually, he was working through it, and he at that point he maybe held me, and yeah, that's what we got stuck on, really, was our experience of suffering and illness and disability. So it was a good discussion.
Good. And also, I think, like you said, it's important to discuss it with God as well.
Yes.
So say to him, what is going on here? And that's all right.
Wrestling can be good.
I think so. So this week ahead of you, any plans, any thoughts?
Well, I think we should stay with suffering.
Yep.
Because you and I have had a bit of a chat about this, haven't we?
Well, I don't know about you, but it seems at the moment on the news every day there's something worse, and it's miserable and it's terrifying. And I noticed that I was skipping over it, or I was turning the radio to a different, I was avoiding it. I was aware of what was going on, but I didn't want to really see it or feel it myself.
Okay.
And I don't think that's great, actually. And I think as we approach Holy Week and we're going to go through, the stations of the cross, the suffering that Jesus went through, I think it's really important for me anyway to confront the suffering that's going on in the world around me today.
Yeah.
So this week I'm going to turn into it. I'm going to make sure that I'm more engaged with it, that I see the images, that I read the reports, that I pray, and that I just hold the reality of what's happening in my world. A bit depressing, but that's where I am.
Do you know what? I think that's a good one. So I'm going to do that with you, Vicky.
Yay.
I'm going to make sure I watch the news, and I will, make myself look at the suffering that's around me. Yeah. So that's a very, I think, appropriate lead into Holy Week, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can I just also ask you, though, so after the last time we had the conversation, we talked about living ethically, didn't we? And I did a mention of the green gram on our high street. I wonder how many of you have actually been in there in the last 2 weeks, maybe as a result of us saying that, or maybe just you've been there. And how has it been? Maybe you could comment below. Let us know what your experience of trying to live more ethically, caring for our planet has been like for you. That's good.
I like it. And we will see you again next week when we enter Holy Week, which I'm quite excited about.
Yeah, thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Thank you for watching, and see you soon. Bye.